Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, and sorry I haven't been on for a while. I'm sure some of you are wondering what happened, where'd you go? So this is April 19th, and I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. A lot has happened in the last just 2 months alone. Both my husband and my dad have had life-threatening surgeries. My husband had a massive tumor removed. My dad had surgery last week, heart surgery. It was to put something on his heart or something to help with his blood clots. He's now in AFib, and they don't know why. So please pray for my dad's salvation, because he is a Jehovah's Witness. They do not believe in being saved or born again. They only listen to what Jehovah says, but not Jesus, even though he is God. So this is what I'm struggling with, and it's always the same struggle, is my obedience. I am grossly overweight still. I started this podcast to reach out to others that are struggling like me. And I've spoke to a lot of people that I know, known them for years, that are Christians. And they're like, oh yeah, we all have those same struggles. And no, you don't. This struggle that I'm going through is unique to us. They're like, oh yeah, I struggle. But yet, they've got that bolt of lightning when they get saved. And boom, their life changes. Yes, they have struggles. Yes, they do. We all have struggles. But I still haven't gotten that bolt of lightning that just changes my life, irrevocably, whatever that word is, for the rest of my life. I've not gotten that. I listen to scriptures, I listen to podcasts, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's another thing that I didn't know. And lo and behold, nothing changes. It's really difficult when you're living in a house that is full of demonic oppression. When I came back from Texas after my husband's surgery, I probably got maybe a half mile from the house, and then it hit me. It's like, oh my gosh, the house that I'm staying in with my parents is extremely oppressed with demonic spirits. They got their Jehovah's Witness crap everywhere. There is no God, just Jehovah. And it's so sick and it's so twisted. And I keep asking God, get me out of here. When I come home from work and I drive down the road and I have all these plans, I'm going to make these videos, I'm going to study this, I'm going to read this, I'm going to do what God wants me to do, and then when I get to the house, it's like, boom, gone. I just want to go upstairs, shut the door, and turn on the TV. I want it to go away. The house where I am is so oppressive, and there's demonic spirits in there. I mean, come on. There's no Jesus in that house whatsoever. None. The other day, my mom's going to be 80 in a couple months, and I know she wants a beautiful pool and so on and so forth. And let me tell y'all, I grew up, I grew up with my mother making our clothes. Now, during the 70s, my dad, my stepdad, he's the only dad I've ever had, made good money. Yeah, he made good money. I think back then, in the 70s, he was making like $27, $28 an hour as a mechanical engineer. Now, my dad was smart about his money, but we suffered because of it. My dad got new clothes because he had to work. He had to bring the money in. My dad spent money on whatever he wanted, and as his stepchildren, and he would have treated his children the same way. So, oh, you're a stepchild. No, it has nothing to do with it. We had to wear the same clothes. They were shoddy. The entire town of Geary, Nebraska knew our family because of the grocery store. My grandmother, his mother, was a kind, loving, beautiful grandmother. I could not have asked for a better grandma. I mean, this woman was so sweet. And to have a son like she had. Now, don't misunderstand me. I love my dad now because I had to forgive him because of the way he was raised. He had eaten. So I don't know if some of you have ever heard of this. Years ago, like in the 60s, they came out with this toy, and it was a chicken, and it was metal, and it would bounce. Well, when it would bounce, these marbles would come out like it was laying eggs. Well, my dad was like 4 or 5 years old. He didn't know any better. He thought they were eggs. So he ate them. When his dad, my step-grandfather, came home and found out about it, grabbed him by his leg, hung him upside down, and beat him until he puked him up. Beat him. So, generational curses. My dad didn't do that to me, but he was very abusive. And I forgave him. I have this really good relationship with my dad. I'm showing him grace and mercy. And I did all this when I got out of rehab in early 2000s. I was in rehab. So anyway, back to the story. We didn't have much growing up because that was what my dad did. But he had saved up the money. He invested it wisely. And now my mom and dad have a nice home. It needs a lot of work, though. They got it in 94. The house is shifting. The wallpaper's falling off the wall. I mean, to look at their house from the outside, it looks beautiful. But you go inside, and it's chaos. There is stuff everywhere. And mainly it's my dad's stuff, because my dad is still very, very selfish. Sorry, I'm a little bit winded. I've got to get this body in shape. So my mom and dad did not know anything about salvation. But anyway, back to their house. I know I'm kind of winded. I haven't done this in a while. Even done these videos in a while. So my mom, after 50 years of being married, she wants the house to look nice. She grew up very, very poor, living in a camper and a really tiny trailer growing up. My grandfather was an alcoholic. My grandmother worked. My mother had children at a young age, and plus her mother, my grandmother, gave birth when my mom was 16 or 13 years old. And then a couple years later, she had my brother. So we have here this young girl at 15 years old taking care of her little brother and taking care of her newborn son. Struggling. So my dad's philosophy is, because they can do it now, because he's worked, he's invested, he makes really good money. So whatever my mom wants, she gets. Like a spoiled kid making up for it. And she acts that way. She's great. She's grateful for nothing. Yeah. So anyway, I'm getting it all nice and cleaned up for her. So it looks pretty. Anyway, I'm out there. It was last weekend. And I have got my Bluetooth in like I do now. And I'm listening to Brandon Heath, Jeremy Camp, Phil Wickham. I mean, those are my go-to guys for how wonderful it is. Oh, check out my hair. See, I got my hair cut yesterday. So now I'm it's all wonky. I'm sorry. I'm walking outside. It's a little chilly today. But anyway, I was just out there dancing, and working, and my mom comes outside. She's like, "What are you doing?" Normally, I would say, "Oh, I'm just having a good day. I'm dancing, da-da-da-da-da." But then I heard it, and I did it. I said, "I'm getting my Jesus on. I said, I'm praising Jesus today. And she's like, oh. I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. You can't even be happy that I'm dancing for the man who died for your sins? Ugh. So this is the oppression that is going on in my house, or my parents' house. I spoke to my daughter yesterday. My daughter is a phenomenal woman, a God-fearing woman. She is strong in the Lord. I am so blessed with that. So I was talking to her about it, and I said, I feel like, God puts us where he wants us. But why? And I'm thinking, maybe I'm to lead my parents to Jesus. Maybe that's why I'm here. And then my daughter, she says, well, Mom, I don't think it's really about them. I think this has to do with you and your walk. This is your test. So, all my followers out there, I ask you, what is your take on this? Seriously, what is your opinion? What do you think that this is? Is it me that I'm to lead my parents to Jesus? And that's why I'm here? That's why I'm stuck here for over 2 years? Or is this about my walk and my obedience? See, I don't know. I mean, God speaks to me all the time, but only things he wants me to hear at that time. So, anyway, what's your takeaway on this? I would really like to know what you think about this, the situation that I'm in. I was also offered a job, and I really wanted to go for this company, but something told me, a lot of overtime. And I know a lot of you people, I'd take the overtime. Yeah, no. I will do overtime occasionally when they need me, but I don't want it to have to be like, well, you didn't stay, for overtime again when I've already worked 60 hours that week. It's not mandatory, but they ask you to stay, and it's like, no. I am 55 years old. I do the work of a man. I'm tired. I'm really tired. And so when this job offer came up, the first offer was more money. I'm like, I'm taking it. But then I get a call from her. She says, hey, look, we sent you this offer by mistake because you and your sister can't be on the same shift together. Well, I do absolutely understand that if my sister is an operator. She runs equipment. She does not. The equipment scares her. She's going to be in the office. She's going to be doing processing. She likes the office stuff and looking pretty. And I told her, well, we are going to be in the same hours because we're going to save money driving back and forth together. No. So she said they're going to send me another offer. Now I'm looking at the pay. I'm like, I'll probably go down for the first shift, Monday through Friday, instead of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And, I'm winded. I'm so fat. And that's F-A-T, not P-H-A-T. Pretty hot and thick, I am not. Pretty heavy and thick, maybe. Yeah, I ain't hot. So then I get another offer. I can't see this offer, and I'm trying to see this offer, and when I logged into it, it was using my cell phone number, and it says, we need to get the code, so we'll send it to your email. I never got the code. I couldn't get into it. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I get off work. I call her, tell her I can't get it. She says, well, we'll send you one that you can just open through your email instead of going through the portal. Cool. Awesome. I get it. It is second shift. I cannot work any shifts but first. It's second shift and less than what I'm making now. First, I'm upset. And I'm like, no. But then I start thinking, something, I really didn't want that job. Because I work Monday through Thursday, 10-hour days. I have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. So I can go help out my daughter and my son-in-law. My daughter's going to be giving birth here in a couple of months, so that'll give me time off. If I need to get off there, they have no problem with it. They know what I've been through. If I had, like, the other day, so it was Thursday. Thursday is my Friday. I told my supervisor at, 11 o'clock, 12, hey, look, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go see my dad in the hospital. He had surgery yesterday. And she looked at me and she says, well, I've already gave someone authorization to go to leave early. And this was yesterday. And I looked at her. Now, this is my new supervisor. Nola's gone. Nola's not there anymore. Thursday was his last day. And I just looked at her. I said, my dad had heart surgery yesterday. I couldn't see him yesterday because he was in ICU. So he was like it's like a ultra ICU. So he was like in a clean room. They moved him into a regular room in ICU that he could have visitors. And I'm like, so I can't go see my dad. She says, well, I really can't spare you right now. I don't care if you can spare me or not. Like I said, she's the new supervisor. She's been there. She's been there from the day one, but she really doesn't know what I've been going through for the last couple of months. And I spoke to another supervisor that I've known, that I've worked with for years, and I told him, I said, yeah. She says, I can't leave. He says, well, what's your bucket? I said, well, I got plenty in my bucket. I mean, I got, 66, 67 hours in my bucket. So I can definitely spare, 3 hours because I left early. And he says, well, you have to tell a supervisor, or if you leave, then it's considered that you walked off the job. And I looked at him and I'm like, well, this is just Ducky. When she says no, he says, I'm a supervisor. Go. I heard you talking to your mother. I know your dad is in the hospital. You don't lie. And I looked at him, he says, go. He says, I got you. I said, thank you, sir. I left 1 o'clock. I went and seen my dad. My dad he's doing okay. He's hurting. Well, yesterday afternoon, he went into AFib. They don't know why. So, my dad is in AFib, and I asked for prayers for my dad, for his salvation, and my parents. Please continue to pray for my parents so that they know who Jesus is. I'm not right. I'm not wrong. I don't care. But I want them to know the joy of Jesus. The real joy. Not this fake thing that these witnesses have. I mean, it's weird. It's messed up. So twisted. So anyway, again, let me know your thoughts on my predicament. Is it to save my parents? I mean, I can't save my parents. So is it for me to lead my parents to Jesus? Or is this initially about my walk and what I'm supposed to do? So anyway, like, comment, subscribe, share my videos out there. Let's get this out there to all the other struggling Christians. We're not alone. Let's do this together. Anyway, y'all have a blessed day, and I look forward to hearing your perspective on this. God bless.